Well, here it is that as time goes by, I end up in the entertainment industry. I loved dancing. I was a former dancer. And so I started to get into, I grew up in New York I'm born 1972. So obviously I was there in the 80s and the 90s when hip hop just exploded. And so I was 100% hip hop. I mean, like I used to tell people I am hip hop. It's like it wasn't so much that I like it or I listen to it. Because hip hop is far more than just music. It's a complete lifestyle. It's the way you talk. It's the way you walk. It's the way you dress. Everything. So I absorbed hip hop from every aspect that you can absorb hip hop. So the hip and the hop. Yep. And so from that, I dropped out of school because there were gangs and people were threatening my life. And my mom and my dad were like, we don't want you to go to school because we don't want you to get killed. And so at an early age, I had to kind of figure out what I'm going to do on my own. And so that's what I started to do. And the only thing I knew how to do was to dance. So that was me. I was part of a group. We were called Quiet Storm. And we said we're Quiet Storm because we walk soft, but we hit hard. So we would go ahead and we would just start hitting up the clubs, and we would start dancing. So this is an example. So that was me. And I ate, slept, and drank dancing. I mean, it was something that I did with all of my heart, and I really put myself into it. And I felt like whatever I do, I got to be excellent at it. So that was kind of like, and I showed young people that so they could see, like, listen, I was really serious about this. So what ended up happening is I started to audition for a lot of artists, and they liked me, and I won. So next thing you know, I started to dance for these people. So I started to dance for Queen Latifah. I started to dance for Brandy, the R&B artist. I started to dance for Heavy D. He was super big in the hip-hop culture at that time. And these became people that I started dancing with and performing for. This is a picture of me and Brandy in London. And, I took this thing pretty seriously. I started to work with these guys. I started to work with Method Man and Wu-Tang Clan and all these guys. These are pretty big names in the hip-hop culture. And again, I started doing Sprite and Coca-Cola commercials, started to do Boss clothing, L'Oreal cosmetics, Nike. It's like I got really big in this thing. I didn't even expect to blow up like this. But before you know it, now they're calling me. Limousines are picking me up in front of my house. We're getting paid thousands of dollars in just a month. I mean, I've never made money like this in my life. So coming from the world of secularism, obviously getting big. I even did a small acting part. This was a big hit back in the days called New York Undercover. And I played a student in class, as you can see right there. And, for me, it just felt like, okay, this is it. I'm going to be an entertainer. I'm going to be a dancer, a choreographer, an actor, and all these other things. And my nephew Charlie ends up getting killed. When Charlie got killed, that's when everything changed for me. It was like when his body went into the grave, there was like a part of me that went into that grave with him. And I began to realize that the words of Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 2, where it says, it is better to go to the house of mourning rather than the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it on his heart. That's exactly what happened. I literally started thinking about life. And so I heard the voice of God say, will you accept me now? Will you accept me now? I kept hearing that. And so that's when I said, yes. And I said yes to Jesus. When I said yes to the Lord, it now became a hunt because I'm not religious. I don't have much of a religious background. So now I have to make a decision. What church do I go to? So I had a prayer, and my prayer was, okay, Lord, if you want me to be a Christian, I'm going to give you until tomorrow. And I said, and if you don't answer me by tomorrow, then I'm going to be a full-out public enemy number one against Christianity. And so I threatened God. I said, if you don't make it plain to me by tomorrow, then I'm going to do that. So what ended up happening is a friend of mine finds this flyer that was laying on the street. And when she found the flyer had all the subjects that I had questions about. And she literally was like, Dwayne, you won't believe this. You won't believe this. And then that's when I looked at it, and it was a tent meeting taking place 15 minutes from my house. Several weeks later, October of 1992, I got baptized into the Seventh-day Adventist Church.